So a lot of people are wondering, should I buy a house in this crazy market or should I just wait? As a real estate investor and an agent here in Philadelphia, I am fully immersed in the market, and not just here in Philly, but all of America, and I see firsthand exactly what is going on. So I wanted to get on here and provide you guys with some information and insight before you decide, to make a decision whether you want to buy or you want to wait. So stay tuned. What's up, you guys? My name is Lillian Chukwueze, and if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome to the family. I drop multiple videos every week about real estate, entrepreneurship, and investing, and all I ask is that you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell if any of those topics interest you so you do not miss when I drop the next video. So, should you buy a house in today's crazy market? The answer is, it really just depends on your situation. But what I can tell you is that you need to understand exactly why you are buying a house in the first place. What problem is it solving? Is it gonna save you money? Is it gonna provide you more space for your family? Is it an investment property? What problem is it solving you right now? As a primary residence, there's a couple things that you need to consider. You need to plan accordingly. You need to make sure that you have enough money saved for a down payment, closing costs, and moving expenses. Don't forget moving expenses. You also need to be able to decide your budget and stick to it. In this market, you do not want to overpay. You never want to overpay for a house. But especially in this market, you really got to dial in your numbers so you're not overpaying, because a lot of properties are overpriced right now. So decide your budget and stick to it. Do not max out. Now, make sure your credit is also strong. Obviously, your interest rates are going to depend on what kind of credit you have. You need to shop around in order to get the best interest rates possible. Now, what you want to do is you want to get multiple quotes, and you want to take those quotes to multiple lenders so they basically are competing against each other so you can get the best quote possible. And what you also want to do is research first-time homebuyer programs, obviously if you are a first-time homebuyer. And another thing you need to do is get a pre-approval letter. Now, you don't want to get too many pre-approval letters because they do pull your credit and they do check your credit. So obviously that'll have an impact on your score if you continue to get a lot of pre-approval letters. Now, another thing you got to do is you got to get an agent and have them handle everything for you on that side. You want to have them negotiate and try to get the best price possible on your potential future home. Obviously, you got to know the criteria of the house that you actually want and the neighborhood that you want to live in. Now, you don't want to be in a situation where the house is not the right fit. Now, there's a stat that says 40% of millennials buy solely online. So you definitely need to get a home inspection and know exactly what you're dealing with. And this is just a tip to protect yourself. You want to assume that your monthly payment will be higher than expected, just to be on the safe side and give yourself an extra cushion. Another thing you gotta do is you gotta plan for maintenance expenses. A lot of people buy houses and they don't understand that it comes with the maintenance costs. Like, yes, it could be cheaper than renting, but when you're renting a property, obviously the landlord is taking care of all the repairs and everything that needs to be done to the property. When you buy yourself, obviously you have to focus on making all those repairs and just keeping up with the property in general. So make sure you have a budget for maintenance expenses. Now, as you guys know, I primarily work in the investment space as an investor. And I deal with a bunch of different investors. So when it comes to buying an investment property in 2021, you want to make sure you're getting a good deal, a good discounted property. Another tip is to start small. If you're gonna flip the house, do not do a full gut job, especially in 2021 right now, just because it's a little risky if it's your first property. Obviously, if you've been doing it for a while, then that's a risk that you might be willing to take. But if it is your first investment property, you don't want to go with something huge, a huge project like a full gut job. Now, when it comes to investment properties especially, you always want to have a plan. Now, you want to get multiple contractor bids when you are buying an investment property, because contractors will charge you different things and have different rates for labor and everything like that and materials. So you want to get multiple bids, pretty much see which one is the best for you, and go with that. But you also don't want to go with the most cheapest, because if they're cheap, there probably is a reason why they're cheap, and you don't want to be left with half a job done, because you don't want them to be so cheap to the point where they're probably not going to do a good job for you, because you want to be able to get in and out of an investment flip as soon as possible, especially in this market where you don't really know when a correction will happen. So definitely don't go with the most cheapest. You want to go with somebody who you know is going to get the job done. Now, you always have to know your exit strategy. You have to have a plan when it comes to investment properties. Is it going to be a traditional rental? Is it going to be a short-term rental like an Airbnb? Is it going to be a lease option? You know, you got to have your exit strategy planned out before you even purchase the property. You got to figure out what type of income it'll generate. You know, you got to know the market. And this is another tip. You want to over budget for your repair costs, because a lot of times the repair cost does go over budget. But you also want to make sure you're only making the necessary repairs, so you got to compare other flip properties in the area, see what upgrades that they made in order to sell for top dollar, and go with those upgrades. Don't try to make the house, you know, HGTV, super fancy, if that's not what is happening in that area to get those higher prices. And of course, you want to partner up with an agent to help you actually get it sold for top dollar. And sometimes that agent will actually help you monitor and kind of manage the flip process along the way, depending on the type of agent that you're dealing with and what you work out with the agent. You know, we're dealing with some very interesting times in 2021. It's interesting to see that the wealth gap is really widening. Literally, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. The interest rates are staying low and the market will probably be the same for a while. I do think there will be a correction, but I don't think it's going to be as massive as what people think. Similar to what happened in 2008, because it's a completely different reason as to why a correction would happen. But I talked more about that in my previous market update videos. I think I did one in March and I also did one in June, so definitely check that out for more information on what exactly is going on in the market. But honestly, my conclusion is that I think it's a great time to buy, especially for buy and holds. If you're gonna buy a property and hold it for, you know, rental income. So if you're gonna go ahead and go that route, you know, to where you can purchase a property at retail value and still reap the benefits of it, you know, through cash flow, you're probably going to want to do the BRRRR method, which is the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat method, because that's going to give you the biggest bang for your bucks. So let's say you buy a property for $50,000, you put another $50,000 of repairs in it, and you can rent it out for, let's say, $1,200. At that point, you could refinance it, you know, take some money out and just use that money to buy another property and repeat that process. Like I said, I think that's the best method right now. Me and my partner are looking to do some flips and pretty much do the same. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. You know, there might be some flips that we're looking to do that we just might flip and get out, but there are some that we're gonna, you know, definitely keep as a rental. But it's a really good time to buy because the debt is so cheap, which is why there's such a high demand for houses. The interest rates are so low. And again, I talk more about that in my other market videos, but that's a really big factor when it comes to purchasing a house, because obviously the lower debt that you can get to buy the house for, the better it is for you, because you get to pay less. So again, you gotta ask yourself, you know, what you're looking for, what's the purpose of this house? I mean, when it comes to an investment, are you looking for appreciation or are you looking for cash flow? Because typically in a market, you don't typically get both. So if you buy in like the urban areas, you'll probably get really good cash flow. Like I know in like places like Camden, New Jersey, you can buy a house for 50, 60, 70,000, cash flow like $1,200 a month. Well, not cash flow, but the rent will be like $1,200 a month or $1,000 a month, whatever the case is. But if you buy in other markets, you might buy a house for like $200,000 and it might appreciate. The cash flow will be trash. It might be like, you know, $1,200, $1,500, but it'll appreciate, you know, $50,000, $100,000 over the years. So it's something you got to consider if you're looking to invest in a property, obviously. And when it comes down to it, if you can get a property on a discount, whether it be your primary residence or an investment property, you cannot go wrong. We're still looking each and every day to buy something. And of course, if you're selling your primary residence, I can help you find a nice house or even a discounted house to flip, because that is my specialty, finding discounted houses, because I do wholesale properties. If you guys check out some of my other videos, you'll obviously know if you've been on the channel long enough. But my links are down below. You can check out my websites. I have one if you are looking to sell, and I have another one if you are looking to buy. So definitely check those out so you can get more information. And I'll reach out to you as soon as possible, as soon as you fill out the form. I hope this video provided you some insight as to whether you should buy a house in 2021. So if you guys haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It'll really help this video reach other people who might need to see it. And of course, hit the notification bell if you haven't done so yet, so you get notified when I drop the next video. So until next time, guys, stay safe and stay blessed.